Don't breathe. If they hear you, you'll die. That thought hit Marcus Hale before the hand did. A sudden pull, darkness, the sharp scent of lavender soap, and raw panic flooding his lungs as he was dragged into a closet, so tight it felt like a coffin waiting to be sealed. His heart hammered so hard he was sure the sound would give him away. Then he saw her eyes in the dark. Aisha, the housekeeper he barely noticed, steady where the world was shaking. One finger raised to her lips as footsteps drifted past the door. Through a thin crack of light, Marcus watched his life split in half. His wife and his younger brother stood in the hallway of his own home, laughing softly, voices intimate and cold, the kind of laughter that belonged to shared secrets and finished plans. Ryan muttered that Marcus was still standing. Veronica replied with irritation, saying she had already doubled the dose in his morning green juice. In that instant, every dizzy spell, every wave of weakness Marcus had ignored, snapped into focus with brutal clarity. It wasn't stress. It wasn't exhaustion. It was poison, served daily with a smile. Aisha didn't wait for his shock to settle. She pulled him through the back door, into the night, into her battered old sedan that smelled of oil and determination. Marcus reached for his phone out of instinct, for power, for protection, for the familiar comfort of authority. Aisha stopped him with a look that carried a lifetime of hard-earned truth. "The people you trust are already paid for," her eyes said. "Calling them would be signing your death warrant." She stripped him of everything traceable. His phone, his watch, the symbols of his certainty. She threw them into a scrapyard bin, like dead weight, erasing him from the map that had been drawn to kill him. As the metal clattered into darkness, Marcus understood something terrifying and freeing. Survival wasn't about what you owned, it was about what you were willing to lose fast enough to stay alive. Hidden in Aisha's small, spotless home in a rough neighborhood, Marcus burned with fever. His designer shirt clung to him like a costume melting off his skin. Every time his eyes closed, memories stabbed him awake. His brother's low chuckle, his wife's impatient sigh, the casual cruelty of discussing his death like spoiled groceries. He had built an empire on numbers and contracts, on smiles that hid ambition. But nothing in boardrooms had prepared him for betrayal, wearing his brother's face and his wife's perfume. Aisha kept him alive with quiet grit, cool cloths, steady hands, silence that felt safer than promises. When he finally found the strength to ask why she was helping him, her answer didn't carry pity. It carried resolve. She had seen the truth. And nobody deserved to die in their own home while monsters called it love. Outside, ordinary life went on. Neighbors laughed. Dogs barked. Curiosity lingered like a threat. Aisha fought suspicion with caution, closing curtains, moving quietly, knowing how easily survival could be undone by a single wrong glance. Marcus hated that his life had become a danger to hers. Yet she stood firm, reminding him that hiding wasn't weakness. It was strategy. As the fever eased, fear sharpened. Marcus replayed the past weeks with painful precision. The nausea after breakfast, the vertigo in meetings, Veronica's sweet concern as she placed the green juice in his hand and kissed his cheek. He realized how many times he had thanked her for poisoning him. He wasn't just recovering from toxins in his body. He was waking up to a new reality. Trust without awareness was blindness, and blindness nearly killed him. Something shifted. The man who had coasted on power and assumption began to see. He saw how invisible Aisha had been in his old life, how easily people dismissed the hands that cleaned their messes and saved their lives. He saw that survival wasn't gifted. It was fought for. When the time came to step back into the world, it didn't feel like freedom. It felt like walking into a spotlight with a target on his chest. The public event glittered with cameras, laughter, and everything Marcus once ruled. Now it was a minefield. He moved through the crowd as a stranger, haunting his own life. Heart pounding with every flash of light. That was when Ryan saw them. The smile froze. The mask cracked. The predator recognized the problem that should have been dead. Ryan moved fast, grabbing Aisha with entitlement sharpened into violence. In that moment, fear tried to reclaim Marcus. Fear of consequences. Fear of power. Fear of challenging monsters in public. But the poison had burned something clean inside him. Marcus stepped forward, not as a billionaire, not as a headline, but as a man who had already faced death and refused to kneel. The truth erupted in front of everyone. The blow that followed wasn't just a fist, it was the end of silence. Sirens cut through the music. Agents poured in. Cameras devoured every crack in the perfect image. Veronica arrived with her practiced smile, reaching for control with the same hands that had served poison. Warrants were read, lies collapsed, an accomplice broke under pressure. The empire of deception crumbled in full view of the world. Marcus didn't chase the cameras. He didn't rush to reclaim his throne. He turned instead to Aisha, standing slightly behind him, cautious in a way that spoke of years surviving without applause. He took her hand and faced the crowd, not to perform, but to tell the truth. He admitted his failure. He confessed that he thought money could buy safety, that blood meant loyalty, that power could protect him. He was wrong. The only thing that had saved him was honor, worn quietly by someone the world had overlooked. As his enemies were led away, something new began to breathe in the wreckage. Not revenge, not spectacle. A chance to build a life on awareness, gratitude, and truth. Outside, luxury cars waited to carry Marcus back into the world that almost killed him. Cameras hovered, hungry for a final image. But Marcus walked past the velvet rope, past the symbols of status. He walked toward Aisha and offered something simple and rare: choice. They left together in her old sedan, paint faded, engine coughing, refusing to quit. As the city lights blurred past, Marcus felt lighter than he had in years. He hadn't just survived poison. He had shed the illusion that nearly buried him. This isn't just a story about betrayal. It's about awakening, about how the people who save us often stand in our blind spots, about how real power isn't control, but courage, and how sometimes losing everything you thought mattered is the only way to discover what truly does. If this story moved you, if it reminded you to look closer, to trust wisely, and to value the quiet heroes around you, then let it stay with you. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and remember, survival isn't gifted, it's fought for, one brave choice at a time.